Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Hōonkō service this morning, October 30th. My name is Charlotte Nakamoto, and I'll serve as your MC this morning. Hōonkō, as many of you may know, is the memorial service of Shinran Shōnin, and we gathered here to express our appreciation to Shinran for showing us the teachings of the Nenbutsu. So Hōonkō is normally on November 28th, and today we're also celebrating this day. Okay. If you could all rise, we'll have the entering of ministers, followed by meditation and GASSHO. Please be seated. We'll have the KADA ZENSHO MIDA by Reverend Steve Toyoshima.
Today, before the altar with Incense and MIDA Buddha, we gather together to observe the Hōonkō. Hōonkō means the memorial served for the founder of our Jōdo Shinshū denomination, Master Shinran Shōnin's, who passed away on November 28, 1226 at 9 years old. Hōonkō is the most important occasion for Shin Buddhist followers, because we are the ones who listen to and live by the teachings of the Master Shinran. Hoon is to repay gratitude for the wisdom we are receiving, and the ko means it makes clear the teachings of the wisdom in our daily life. We gather together to reconfirm, to learn, to honor, and to remember him, and to spread his teachings of the devotion as the way to repay the wisdom we receive, sharing to others and awaken to the meaningful life. Actually, this gathering is a gift we receive from Master Shinran, an opportunity to encounter the Buddha Dharma and to reflect on how we are living our life, living the pain and suffering that permeates us in our life. Hōonkō is the occasion for us expressing our gratitude for having encountered the teachings of the members. May we continue to gain inspiration from memories of Master Shinran, receive his encouragement to continue our study of Buddha Dharma, to come to appreciate our own life and live together in the true spirit of Bert. Let us be reminded that our effort to understand the teachings must be never ending. On this occasion, we reconfirm our commitment to listen ever more diligently to the teachings of the members. Respecting GASSHO, Shakujinen, on October 3rd, 2022. I ask your hands together in GASSHO. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
If we could ask you to all rise, we'll have the singing of Gatha Shinshu Shuka in Japanese on page 46 in your service book, red service book, or page 80 in your white service book. Red service book, page 46, white service book, page 80. Please rise. Please be seated. We'll now have the chanting of Shoshin-ge, and that is on page 8 through 23 in the white service book, and followed with Wasan Mida Daihi no Seigan no. on page 34 to 36. And echo on page 27. White service book from page 8 to 23. We'll now have Oshoko starting from the back.
天神菩薩尊世奇妙無下公如来永州から献身寺高専法長大誓願こういう本願力栄光異道群上昇一心記入独大崩壊立逆入大永収集独死蓮華創世界即昇進用法昇進有本の人間人図入生寺四寺用下本寺鈍安両天使上皇乱生菩薩来三層ルシ十条教恩賞宣教喜楽法天神菩薩論中下報道因果見世願法言名法有他力少女心唯心人悪善凡夫信心法生じ生じ即涅槃一子無量光明法勝負修行回復下同社継承道南省唯妙浄土活入万全自力変言集円満特護感染症三空三心軽音言増魔法名法義一生増悪地偶世四安業大小の独名不詳お愛よ三よ逆悪お妙妙高見因縁大有本願大智大行者小樹混合心教義一年総合上位大東逆三人即小小市上楽天神交代一大教延期安女神一切先祖修心反戦人法華二道小分流国十悪人類勝負大学在一摂取中煩悩証言水部権大義無権上昇が本次元空妙仏教蓮人千丸本部人新宗教諸公演宗千尺本願空学生現代生じ臨伝へ決式上位昇進即入着上部医学一致新人導入仏教大事修士と調査無変国直悪老即実習不動心唯化心死南無阿弥陀仏
Page 34. MIDA Daihi no Seigan no
Ugaku Shinzen Hito wa mina Nete mo samete mo edate naku Namu Amida o tonobeshi Shodomon no hito wa mina Jiriki no shin no mune to shite Tariki fushigi inureba Hinaki o mitosu to shinchise Shaka no kyogo mashimase do Shusubeki ujo no naki ue ni Satori uru mono mappo ni Ichi nin mo araji to tokita mo Sancho Jōdo no Daishito Shinji shinjin susume shime Joju no fukurai ni ire shimeyo Tariki no shinjin uru hito o Uyamai oki ni yorokobeba Waga shinruzo to kyōshū se sonna hometa mo Nyorai daihi no ondoku wa Ryōgo ni shite mo ozubeshi Shishu chishiki no ondoku mo Hone o kudakite mo shasu
Page 27. Gannishi kudoku
Jōdo Shinshū Dobo Bodaishi Ojo
Yes, so hands together, GASSHO.
MIDA.
I take refuge in the Buddha. We vow to give you good throughout this dark retreat. Together to raise the mind of God and awaken to the realm of serenity and joy.
We'll now have a reading by Reverend Marco Sawada on page 82 in your white book.
Namandado. 如来大義の音読は、横にしても法ずべし、刺繍知識の音読も、骨を砕きてもしゃすべし。Let's read together the translation of Ondoku-san.
I vow to express my gratitude for the great compassion that embraces me continuously until my body turns to dust. I vow to express my appreciation for the wonderful lessons of my Dharma teachers until my bodily form is shattered. Namo.
Good morning. Thank you, everyone. We are really happy to receive you on this occasion here today. It's a Hōonkō. Hōonkō is the most important. I'd say it's not most important, but it's really important because it's the memorial service for our Patriarch Shinran Shōnin, the founder of our denomination, Hongwanji. What I can say about the Hoonko, Hon is pay gratitude, and Ko is we confirm these teachings. And when we think about these teachings, was written there in Wasan we read today, Gi Naki Ogitosu. Gi Naki means no meaning. Make a meaning. No meaning become meaning, and then meaning become no meaning. This is really hard to understand, but we human, we can understand only this dualism, good or bad, right or wrong. But from this point of view, good or bad, right or wrong, we can go to no meaning, because we think one way, I think another way, and everyone think in different way. Then this is the reason we go to this regard darkness. This darkness is some place when is a search for our enlightenment. From this two dualism, we go to one is the true things, the Dharma. And from this true, the language you can understand is this good or bad, right or wrong. This is what is Namo Amida to confirm today these teachings of Shinran Shōnin. And I do like today to introduce our guest speaker, our guest speaker. And I met him, I think 2 years ago, in Naalehu, Hongwanji, in Big Island, when an International Peace Day, and I was really impressed with Sensei, because he had all Christian background before, very strong Christian background, and he encountered Buddhist teaching in not young age, but he became a minister. I will read his profile, his bio. He was born in Persit Peninsula and moved to Kailua after 5th grade and graduated from Iolani School. He received a
BS degree in zoology with a minor in philosophy and theology of Marquette University. He attended dental school after that and at the same university and graduated with a Doctor of Dental Surgery degree followed by residency in pediatric dentistry at the Wisconsin Children's Hospital. He is a fellow member of American College of Dentists as well as a fellow of International College of Dentists. While practicing in Honolulu, he became interested in Buddhism and began to study earnestly. After receiving Tokudo ordination, he was assigned as a minister, aide or assistant minister, first at Kailua Hongwanji and later as Kapolei Buddhist Sangha. After Kyoshi certification of minister certification, he opened received a Kai Kyoshi, overseas minister status. And he served as an interim minister in the Moilili, Hongwanji, and later as an associate minister at the Honpa Hongwanji, Hawaii Betsuin, and then back to Moilili, Hongwanji as their resident minister. He says that he is now considered retired, but he is now back at Kailua Hongwanji. Now we call it the Windward Buddhist Temple as their minister, and as the overseeing minister of the Kapolei Buddhist Sangha. Incidentally, his maternal great-grandfather was a Christian minister in Kobe, Japan, and his maternal grandfather was a long-time Christian minister in Waimea, Kauai, after first serving at the Lihue Christian Church. Yeah, this is very interesting history of our guest speaker. I want to thank the doctor and the Reverend Bert Sumikawa. Thank you. Sensei, come. Just
Thank you very much for that introduction. I will. Long time no see. Good to see you. Sorry for that long introduction. It's going to be longer than my Dharma message. Well, good morning, everyone, once again, and thank you so much for inviting me to share a few thoughts with you this morning. Thank you to Reverend Michael Sawada and family. I'm always happy to share a few moments with you. And we did come here this past August as a group, and we had a wonderful time here. Unfortunately, I had to leave early to go to Kapolei, so I wasn't able to fully enjoy the refreshments downstairs, but I really did enjoy what I had. Anyway, let's put our hands together in reverence as I read these words. With a profound sense of gratitude, we gather here this morning to listen and to savor the essence of the Nembutsu. We are thankful of Shinran Shōnin and his predecessors who awakened him to the unending compassion. Now we're able to flow in the same stream of Nembutsu, which gives meaning to an otherwise barren and meaningless life. Here we begin to hear the timeless call of reassurance that continues to come from the world of immeasurable and inconceivable life and light in the form of the name that calls. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida. the month of January, which is only a couple months from now, we will celebrate once again the life of one of America's greatest heroes, that of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, who in one fell swoop liberated and improved the lives of not only African Americans, but that of Americans of every color and religious persuasion as well. And I might add, laid the groundwork for the legal acceptance of single-sex partnerships. And we celebrate his life and achievements each and every year since the early 1980s. By the same token, this morning, we celebrate the life of Shinran Shōnin, who in one of the biggest services of the year in our Jōdo Shinshū tradition, in remembrance of his passing about 759 years ago. Hōonkō service, that you were just informed earlier, translated as a Dharma gathering for acknowledging the indebtedness. At Hōonkō, we trace the footsteps of Shinran with deep appreciation in our hearts and resolve to dedicate ourselves in the service of others to truly make our world more friendly and happier for all mankind. So when we say Dharma gathering for the acknowledgement of indebtedness, what are we exactly talking about? And who are we acknowledging this debt to? It is the wisdom and compassion that's bestowed on us by Amida Buddha that we are here to acknowledge this morning. The Bodhisattva Dhammakara viewed many pure lands, and upon fulfilling the 48 vows, established the Pure Land in the Western Paradise and became the Amida Buddha, thereby establishing a path by which sentient beings could attain birth and realize enlightenment. It is through the primal vow that we are made aware that we are not attached to the idea that everything is separate and not interconnected. We become aware of the oneness through our deepened understanding of what some refer to as the 4 marks of existence. I'm sure you've all heard of the 4 marks of existence. Namely that number 1, life is a bumpy road. Birth, aging, illness, death, being separated from loved ones, having to associate with those that we dislike, and not getting what we want or what we desire, and being attached to what is called the self or the I. And number 2, that life is impermanent. Things are constantly changing and nothing remains the same. And life is interdependent. Number 4 is that life is fundamentally good. With the right outlook and the right view, we can live life to the fullest with much joy and much meaning. So as a monk then, on Mount Hiei, while he was with others striving to attain enlightenment through the heroic feats of self-power, Shinran came to the realization finally that he was not able to achieve anything. On the contrary, he saw himself as a foolish being, filled with delusions, filled with passions that could not be overcome, but in his own lifetime, by any amount of self-power. And so, as you know, at the age of 29, while still a doso or a monk discharged with leading, chanting, and performing rituals, Shinran was unable to truly devote himself to the teachings, was unable to recite the Nembutsu single-mindedly without a distracted mind and to become enlightened, which was his goal at that time. Then too, how are laypersons such as we, who must work for a living, who are unable to engage in religious practices, ever to come in contact with the Buddha's emancipation?
He said that true emancipation should not be limited to a few people. It should be available to all those who are able to separate themselves from work and from family. And so, Shinran left the life of a monk at Mount Hiei and descended the mountain and stayed at Rokkakudo. Have any of you been to Rokkakudo, right in the middle of town? And you know the strange thing about Rokkakudo is there's a statue of Shinran also. Did you see that? Wow, that's strange. Anyway, he stayed there for 100 days before beginning his study with Honen. As he learned more about the Pure Land teachings from his master Honen, he came to understand that his realization of his own limitations and powerlessness was in fact pure proof that he had been touched by Amida. So upon receiving the gift of Amida's boundless compassion, he discarded the self-centered effort or in striving to become enlightened and accepted the primal vow based on what is termed Buddha-centered power or other power. What we praise him for is that he spread the joy that he felt about the certainty of this Buddha-centered power to all with whom he came in contact with. What is equally praiseworthy is that he also considered himself to be just one of the fellow travelers along the same Pure Land path, Ondogo Ondogyo, as it said. It was through the life of Shinran that we are able to be here today, to enjoy his teachings and to be able to receive the benefits bestowed on us through the power of Amida's primal vow. So if you can imagine a circle signifying enlightenment, and this circle is inside a box. The religious practices that Shinran was doing on Mount Hiei was exactly that. As his Buddhism was practiced, gradually the 4 squares of the box are removed until finally what is left is the achievement of enlightenment. Shinran did this for 20 years, and all he could do as he was trying to achieve enlightenment was that he was creating more and more corners on his box. He taught us that Buddha comes to us, embraces us with all of our so-called boxes and corners, which is our blind practices. This was his gift to the world, that there is no need for austere practices, that all that was necessary was a total reliance on Amida Buddha, with a singleness of heart, because the Buddha is already right here in your heart. All that we have to do is to recite the name, Namo Amida Butsu, in gratitude. In the year 1263, Shinran became ill, and his health began to fail. Enne, which is a historical account, speaks briefly on the last days of Shinran's life. Toward the latter part of the midwinter in the year 1262, Shinran showed first symptoms of illness. And after that, he did not talk again about earthly matters. Dwelling only in his deep gratitude to the Buddha, he constantly repeated the Nembutsu. He laid himself on his right side, with his head facing north and his body facing west. And when he had finished his last recitation of the Nembutsu, he entered the Pure Land. He was just completing his 90th year. So although Jōdo Shinshū began in Japan, today there are hundreds of temples throughout the world. There's hundreds of temples, fellowships, and sanghas throughout the United States, Canada, Brazil, Mexico, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Nepal, and Australia as well, throughout Europe, and even in Kenya, Africa. There is an ever-widening circle of Jōdo Shinshū followers throughout the world, and today it's one of the largest schools of Buddhism in the world. making it a truly worldwide religion. Shinran, who revealed the Jōdo Shinshū teachings to us and the path of Onenbutsu, has provided many to live a positive and a fruitful life. He was great because he revealed to future generations a way of spiritual attainment that was possible even for ordinary persons such as we, who are caught in the entanglement of ego self. He showed us the way to the vow of Amida, calling us to come just as we are, with all of our faults and limitations and defilements, and put our trust in Amida Buddha with a sincere heart, calling his name with a desire to be born in the Pure Land. But in our busyness of our daily lives, often rushing around, multitasking amount of time, feeling there are so many things to do and to finish, so many things to be concerned with, our self-centered views, that prevents us from seeing the reality of the Dharma. Story with you, story about a noted Japanese author of historical novels by the name of Yotaro Shiba. He passed away in 1996. Several of his novels were made into year-long NHK Tiger dramas. One day a teacher asked his students, "What does Bonbu mean?" One of the students answered, "Well, Bonbus are ordinary, foolish, and useless people." The teacher replied, "That's right. So then, who do you think that's a Bonbu?" The students tried to figure out who might it be, who might be, and pointing fingers. See, any of their classmates might be one. I wonder if he's a Bonbu, because his grades are so poor. Maybe she's a Bonbu. She always goes into town to play and has no morals. No one, though, could name a single person. The teacher asked once again, "Who is a Bonbu?" Still, no one answered. Finally, he said, "We're all Bonbus." Surprised by the teacher's frank statement, one of the students, "Then does that mean that you too are a Bonbu, Sensei?" The teacher answered, "Yes, I too am a Bonbu." The students were naturally shocked that their own teacher would admit in front of all of them that he was a foolish and useless person, a dummy. Then Sensei asked them to name who they thought might be the greatest person in the world. Some thought surely it might be the Emperor of Japan. Others might have thought it was the President of the United States, or perhaps a Prime Minister of some other powerful country. But Sensei said, "No, the greatest person in the world is the one who discovers his." Then the Sensei asked the class whether they knew who the first person to realize or discover their Bonbuness was. Sensei went on. That person was Shinran's teacher, Honen. But don't worry, since you're still all students, it's all right if you don't understand this realization of foolishness right now. However, he cautioned them, when you become an adult, please recall this question. If you do not understand this matter of Bonbuness, you're an unhappy person in the world. From this story, we can see that a person who discovers his or her own foolishness is indeed the greatest person in the world. Shinran made a great discovery through his teacher, Honen Shonin. In the notes on one's calling and many calling, Shinran wrote they were all full of ignorance and blind passions, a Bonbu. He wrote, Our desires are countless, and anger, wrath, and jealousy and envy arising without pause. And to the very last moment of life, they do not cease, they do not disappear. Shinran pointed out the essence of a human being is that of a foolish being, full of the three poisons of greed, anger, and unawareness. Dr. Haneda of the MIDA Center says that this awareness of self causes us to become humble and leads us to have a dynamic and creative life. Just as Shinran Shōnin encouraged Shinran to live a life of gratitude, to just simply live a life of Nembutsu, we're also encouraged by Shinran to the life of Nembutsu ourselves, to just simply live the life of a Nembutsu. Our minds are, compared to monkey chatter, endlessly filled with compulsive thoughts and insatiable cravings. We're like white mice in a cage, endlessly going around the exercise wheel. If we do not correct this, if we continue to live in self-centeredness and delusion, it will eventually blow up. That's why they call it gas. Greed, anger, and actually it's stupidity, but it's not really stupidity, it's unawareness. If you imagine that the balloon is filled with gas and it's not released, it will eventually blow up. Right? But as we begin to live the life of Nembutsu, to live simply in the Nembutsu as Shinran Shōnin admonishes us to do, our three poisons, commonly referred to as gas, as I mentioned, are released slowly but surely. When we awaken to the pure mind of Amida Buddha, we transcend the challenges that faces us. So let us all release our gases and live a life of contentment, gratitude, and appreciation. We should express gratitude and appreciation to all family members and to virtually all that have come and gone, and also to those that are still living. We can learn from the Jōdo Shinshū perspective. Upon reflection of the sacrifices made by these people for our sake, we will develop a clearer understanding of the interdependence of all life and of all beings as well. We will then be better able to live a life of thanksgiving and become deeply aware of the Shin Buddhist way of life. This is the legacy that has been left to us by the founder of the Hongwanji, the Pure Land Buddhist sect, and why we come together each year in gratefulness. So let's close once again by bowing our heads together in GASSHO and listen to the words of Shinran Shōnin. If the original vow of Amida is true, the teachings of Shakyamuni cannot be false. If the teaching of the Buddha is true, Zendo's commentary on the Contemplation Sutra cannot be wrong. And if Zendo is right, what Honen says cannot be wrong. So if Honen is right, what I, Shinran, have to say may not be just empty talk. In brief, such is the true entrusting of this foolish one. Beyond this, I can only say that whether you accept this faith in the Nembutsu or reject it, the choice is for each of you to make. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Well, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much once again for inviting me to this most auspicious service here.
Thank you so much, Reverend Sumikawa. So enjoyable to have you come back. We'd like to have you come back more often. So you're always welcome here. Thank you. Okay, we'll now have the Gatha Namu Amida Butsu in our service book on page 121. I think that is our red service book. If you could all rise.
$21.
Please remain standing, and we'd like to have the singing of Gatha Ondok-san on page 112 in Japanese and in English on page 54.
54.
English on page 54. Please be seated. Okay. Okay, we have a few announcements. Thank you again for joining us this morning. Reverend Toyoshima.
So, thank you for. Really thank you for you watching and you came here, and for Betsuin members today, thank you. You came and you helped us and during our roommate sale and our bond dance. We really appreciate your help. Thank you so much, and you came today here. And today I want to thank you, Reverend Steve Toyoshima. He came from Betsuin to help us. Sensei Bert Sumikawa and Windward Buddhist temple during the bond dance too. Mr. Dog did a good job too. Mr. Dog, thank you for the good job during the bond dance as a chairperson for us there. Every one of you make this happy, this moment to happen, this great moment for us. And Sensei Steve Toyoshima will announce about one next event we have in our district. Please, Sensei. Thank you, Sensei.
Hello, ohayo gozaimasu, and aloha, everybody. I'm Reverend Steve from the Hawaii Betsuin. But I wanted to let you folks know about the Hōonkō gathering that's going to be happening next month. So Saturday, November 12th, we're going to be having our special guest speaker, Reverend Patty Nakai from the Buddhist Temple of Chicago. She always has wonderful Dharma talks, and so the theme for this year is going to be Being Helped, Nembutsu Teachings for Our Present Life. So on Saturday, we're going to have a lecture followed by dinner, and then she'll also be our guest speaker for our Hōonkō service the next day at 10 a.m. So I invite everybody to come on down. I know that it's a little bit of a schlep to get from Kaneohe over to over the mountain, but we definitely invite everybody to come. If you'd like to participate in the lecture, you can send this into the temple just so that we know how many people we have for ordering food. But other than that, we hope to see you for the gathering or for the service, and you all have a wonderful afternoon.
This ends our service. Thank you again for joining us, and thank you very much, Sensei Sumikawa. So it was good to see you again. We will have some refreshments downstairs, so please join us. And I hope we can, again, Oh, we're gonna do a picture, sorry, thank you. Stan is reminding me, if we can all gather out here at the stairs, he'd like to take a group photo and then we'll go down for refreshments. Thank you.
Gather at the stairs.